Yeah.
Hello, I am Tartar Racing here back again with my friend Steve Wen, and we are back with another Seduce Me episode. This time, the holiday episode. Let's get right to it.
Holiday episode. I wonder what holiday it's based on.
Yep,
Definitely not the day that this is being uploaded.
definitely not. No. New Year's Eve, a holiday celebrated internationally. It was one of those turns of time that no one on this earth could avoid. It was one thing to spend it alone, hoping for the best and being unsure of the future ahead of you. It was also another thing to spend it at parties. Throwing a drink at the past, you trudged through and dancing the night away. Five incubi boys who had come into my life managed to stay in my home throughout the year following my final high school quarter and past my graduation. As I entered college, they remained supportive and surprisingly eager to stick around. Unfortunately, they were still freshly known to my family and friends, thus why I had to spend my holiday without them. My family insisted on me returning to their house and spending the holidays before New Year's with them. While bringing the incubi along seemed like a good idea, the boys collectively wanted to spend the holidays together and did not want to intrude on my family this year. After all, my parents still believed that they were the house servants. Bringing even one of them home for the holidays would have been an interesting story. However, I was devoted to spending some holiday time with them for the end of the year. When I was invited to places for New Year's Eve by both friends and family, I decided to stay home with the incubi. A part of me felt majorly excited. Another part of me felt like slapping myself over and over for letting them convince me that waiting for my holiday present was worth it. Still, it was rather hilarious to see them prepare New Year's dinner.
Oh my God, Sam, get out of the kitchen. Shut up, you little runt. I just want to look. You're in the way, Sam. Out. God, fine. Sheesh. We told you not to go in there. We did, Sam. I swear to God, I will hurt the both of you. That's no way to start the new year.
Sam was completely right to feel impatient. James and Matthew had assigned themselves to making the New Year's dinner and had pulled out every recipe book in the library just to make sure they had the perfect menu. The aromas that wafted from the kitchen were intoxicating and almost heavenly. I felt my mouth water just from the scent. It didn't help that the kitchen had pretty much become a locked territory. Unless you wanted an earful from James and Matthew combined, then it was best that you stayed out of their workspace. More teasing. Great. Whatever they're making smells amazing.
Is it? It is. They're almost done though, so we won't be waiting long. Well, that's good. They've been working all day on food. Man, they need to hurry the hell up. Quit being impatient, Sam.
Sam opened his mouth to fight
Come
back,
on.
but instantly shut it, most likely thinking the better of it, and grumbled under his breath as he turned to sit at the table. Soon enough, James and Matthew began to carry large plates to the dining room, setting them methodically around the table so everyone had the chance to get what they wanted, regardless of where they sat. I was stunned once more by the sheer amount of food prepared, topped only by the intense aroma that melded almost perfectly in the air. It was like that they were trying to take the record of how much food that can be placed on the table from where when they had arrived. At that thought, I took a moment to realize something. It had almost been a full year since the incubi appeared in my life. I had graduated and was now experiencing my first year of college with the incubi beside me. Now here I was, about to enter a new year with them in my life. I couldn't help but let a smile creep onto my face from the thought.
Is everything alright?
Huh? I looked up, not realizing how lost in my thoughts I was, and came face to face with all 5 boys looking at me in concern. Crap. I shook my head and almost took a moment to recollect myself before smiling once more. Sorry, I was just lost in thought.
What were you thinking about?
From the look on the boys' faces, all of them were curious to know, did I want to be the cheesy nostalgic that brought up the past? What are we gonna do?
Sure.
I couldn't help the thoughts from appearing in my head. Might as well enjoy it with the rest of the group. I ran a hand through my hair and chuckled softly. Well, it's been almost a full year since we met, you know. I was just thinking about that. The boys stared at me before looking to each other in the same surprised realization.
Oh crap. That's right, we came here somewhere around April, right? We did. Has it really been that long? It feels like we only came here a short while ago. Well, we've been here for a little over a year now, and we've known you since April, so that's around 8 months. Wow, to think we'd find ourselves in the company of such a wonderful woman within a year of being in the human world. We must be blessed.
I couldn't help but roll my eyes at Eric's comment while the others did as well in slight annoyance. Matthew and James continued to set up dinner while I became lost in my thoughts again. The memories of the past slowly flickered in my mind. Our first dinner, the house party, Alex and Diana. It was all surreal to remember, but they were real events in my life. Especially since I had my eyes on. We know
You
the
know
answer.
exactly. We know the answer to this.
James was
James.
indeed the perfect man. He was the CEO of my grandfather's company and was a loving, caring, and organized individual. He not only kept track of his brothers, but made sure to care for me as well. I was lucky to have a man like him to call my own. I was even more lucky to know that he valued me and was happy to have me as his as well. Staring at him as he set the table made my heart flutter slightly. Not many people could pull off the pop collar look, and yet James did it with perfect ease. He definitely looked like husband material. Agreed. James noticed me stare and gave a little loving smile in my direction before continuing with his work. Finally, the table was set and we were all seated, ready to dig in.
I gotta admit, you and James did good, Matthew. Thanks, Sam. Sam and Matthew for not fighting. It's a winter miracle. Hey, I'm not a complete asshole to him. Only sometimes. Well, it's the turn of the human year, so it's a good way to get the habit of being nice started. New Year's resolutions.
Yep.
How wonderful.
Indeed.
Mine this year is to beat Dark Souls 3.
Mine this year was to get a better job. Yeah.
Get a better job. Yeah, mine's to beat fucking Dark Souls 3 with all optional bosses and DLC.
That's a honestly I think that's hard, that's a way harder resolution than what I had, honestly.
Very true. Yeah.
Damien laughed, and I couldn't help but do the same. However, one curiosity burned in my mind. Were you going to say something?
I almost did the thing. I almost did the thing. You know what I almost did?
Yeah.
The thing.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes, what is it?
What did you do last New Year's Eve? I remember them telling me that they had been in the human world for a full 6 months before my grandfather passed away. If that was the case, then this wasn't their first New Year's Eve. The boys took the question and looked to each other.
Didn't we go to like New York or something? Nah, we're in another continent by then, like Europe or something. London. We were in London. Of course. I remember that. We had such a fun time, walking around and taking in the sights. Very first people to enjoy the sights in London.
Yes.
London is a tragic place to live.
Really?
The mayor of London put emission taxes on electric cars.
What the hell?
That's all you need to know.
What?
People are still to figure out that. We were on a giant Ferris wheel when midnight came. It was amazing to see all of it. The fireworks from it. Yes, the London Eye. The London Eye was closed off for the public. But since we were friends of Harold Anderson, we were allowed to access, and were lifted to the very top of it. Perfect view of the sky during the celebration. Matthew couldn't stop jumping all over the damn place. From accent. Ah! Yeah, wrong voice though. That's why I did that wrong fucking voice.
Ooh.
Yeah, Matthew couldn't stop jumping all over the damn place from how excited he was. Hey, you're excited too. All of us were. Very fair, Matthew. Still, it has really been a year since then. So much has happened since.
The boys seemed to trail off into their own nostalgic memories, mentioning events of their trip around the world thanks to my grandfather. While I was happy for them, a little part of me felt left out. Sure, I didn't know them, but to have experienced the world with them, them would have been a dream. Maybe we could somewhere in the future. Heck, maybe I'd able to see the demon world. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Be careful what you fucking wish for with that.
Yeah.
We've seen what happens.
Not pretty.
This isn't the art style of Seduce Me 2, though. So this is meant to be done after you've beaten Seduce Me 2.
Or won. However, who knew the future? It was an unknown fabric of time that I had yet to explore, that no one had yet explored. All I knew was now I was in the incubi's lives and I was going to see the new year come with them in my life. I looked up to my glass, seeing it full of my favorite drink courtesy of James, while he was setting up dinner. My own reflection greeted me, and I felt myself naturally take hold of it and lift it. Ahem. At last, the boys stopped talking and looked over to me in curiosity, as they noted my raised glass. I smiled. May I propose a toast?
Oh, a toast for what, Princess?
The future. The boys listened intently as I looked up to my glass in a new hope. The future was a mystery indeed, and while I wasn't a part of the incubi's past in the human world, I was more than happy to be part of their future. To a future unknown, but a future I hope to explore with you all. Silence consumed the air as the boys took in as what I had said. Did they realize the same thing I noticed? Finally, James raised his glass and looked to his younger brothers, causing them to turn their attention.
Yes. To a future we can explore together. That sounds like a perfect toast.
As his brothers nodded and lifted their glasses as well for the toast, James looked to me in a smile, ushering to smile back in kind. Cheers! At that, we all drank to our toast, a future that was still unknown to me. I couldn't wait to experience it, but I was certain that my future was going to be absolutely grand. My heart couldn't stop pulsing with joy at the thought. I was excited to experience what was to come. We ate dinner and talked about the potential things that could happen in the future. New businesses, possible trips, the works. For the first time, I felt like I was part of the family as I listened to and spoke just as much as each incubus. However, as the sudden flare of the fireworks flashed outside the windows and the sound wave echoed behind the glass, the boys flinched and looked over in shock.
What the hell? Fireworks? But it's not midnight yet.
It's the pre-celebration fireworks.
You have those?
Sort of. The school in this area loves to order a lot of fireworks and likes to set off the extras before New Year's comes around.
Well, what are we waiting for? We're gonna miss the fireworks show.
The boys and all looked to each other and grinned before heading for the door. Wow. The sky was filled with softly falling snow. Each snowflake and star was illuminated by the bright, colorful lights from the far-off fireworks. I had seen them before, but to see them in an open sky not surrounded by suburban trees was a whole different experience.
Very nice JPEG of fireworks they have here.
Yes.
Lovely JPEG.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. It's all so beautiful. Absolutely, Damien. Truly magnificent. You got that right.
I looked up to James, watching him comb his hair back with a smile. For a moment, my heart caught itself in my throat. He was as handsome as he could be in the moonlight. I couldn't take my eyes off him.
Well, he looks very vampire-y in this image.
I know, he does. Like, super pale.
To think we'll all end and start the new year with fireworks. It's almost poetic.
Yeah. One thought wandered in my mind. What was he thinking about? Was his mind on the fireworks, or was it about us? I knew the view from our front lawn wasn't exactly a view like the London Eye, but it was something we got to see together. It was one special moment that would last forever in my memories. At that, I giggled softly, catching his attention.
What is it?
Can't wait to see the new year with you. James stared for a moment before chuckling and nodding in reply.
New Year will be a beautiful sight to see if you are beside me.
Who could argue with that? It was at that moment I knew deep in my heart that I would have my happily ever after somewhere in that unknown future. Let the new year come. I was ready.